The school committee meeting, May 13th, 2:25. Ryan, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Mr. Fisher?
Here.
Mr. Hatch?
Oh.
Ms. Mastrocola? Mr. Richards?
Here.
And Mr. Serena?
Yeah. So, the report of the school committee chair, I just have a few things tonight. First, I want to apologize for not being able to attend last night's town meeting on the enrichment programs. I would have loved to speak about the success of the enrichment program and how it's benefiting the students. I'm sure Mr. Hashem did a great job of letting town meeting know the value of this program. There's a couple things I want to touch on too about the meeting, some of the information that comes out, and it gets tossed around like a buffet salad. First and foremost, everything we do and everything we vote on always has the student's best interest in mind. Our budget is large, and a large portion is teachers' salaries, as it should be. Our teachers the first line of learning and social well-being in our schools. I think everyone's had a teacher that made a difference in their life, and that's what these teachers do. So I think that's one thing that we talk about. The other thing is we don't use one-time monies for recurring expenses, so we don't spend like stabilization money on salaries or things like that. I know we're the town's largest expenditure, and we understand that. The town has been good to us over the years, and we appreciate that. But saying that, and you have to understand, like, your budget at home, everything has gone up. Busing, insurance, programming, and we try to be stewards of the budget and take it very seriously. Mr. Wittridge won't sign bills sometimes if he sees something that he doesn't like, and that's what we do. I think people just think everything's, oh, they just do that. No, we look at everything, and we focus on the things that we don't see that we appreciate. So, and lastly, this is just, I want to touch on it quickly. It's about the information of the former superintendent and where we stand. So everyone knows this is an ongoing case. It's currently in remediation, and we're waiting on next steps. As of today, there are no firm monetary numbers that we have. We continue to push back. We did the right thing to protect the district and the students, and knowing what I know, I would do it again. We will not put anything in the media or speculate on outcomes. This only puts us in a precarious position. So that's really all I have, and I'd like to turn it over to these guys if they have anything.
What I'd like to add, I'd like to touch on that, the enrichment programs a little bit. You know, we take a lot of criticism. People think that we're not here to help the kids or whatever the case may be, but it's all we've actually tried to do over the last 6 years. And as a matter of fact, we've never had enrichment programs like we have now. And, you know, I'm not saying it's our brainstorm, but we help bring it forth, and this is what we do. I heard some comments last night that, what do we do for the kids, and, you know, and why don't we have programs for the kids? This is all to help the kids. It doesn't have to be all educational. It's socio-emotional. It's a lot of stuff that helps these kids. And we have a lot of kids sign up for it. So this is where that money goes. So it's a little disheartening because we're the only really department in town that kind of takes a beating over good things, you know? Yeah, sure, you can nitpick a lot of stuff that goes on. But guess what? I work for the town, so I can tell you a lot of things about other departments that they've got some issues, you know? So we're not the only people that sometimes have a problem. But we're the only people that when we have a problem, it gets blown out there into the public and it gets overblown. There's a lot of good stuff going on, and these enrichment programs are a big part of it, of moving this district forward. If we don't have the money in our budget, but we do have the enrichment money, that's what it's used for. We're using it to educate kids and to help them with their social emotional issues and everything else. So, you know, it's not really worth our while to get up there and try to defend it at a town meeting when, you know, it's a personal thing sometimes with people. It's political. So we come here, we talk about it here. So. Mr. Fisher?
Thanks. Yeah, I just want to echo that as well. The meeting we had, I think it was the end of March, when we had the kids and the parents here to talk about the enrichment program. It's probably, I think, the best meeting we've ever had. In all
Absolutely.
the time I've been on school committee. And two parents spoke at the end of the meeting, and I don't forget it. One parent got up and talked about how her child was from that class that got delayed. First year of school was later than it should have been because of COVID. So there's, executive function issues, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of difficulty just being in a classroom and learning how to be in a classroom. And the enrichment program made such a huge difference for her child that he was so nervous that we were gonna get rid of it. He was like pacing before the meeting because he was so nervous about it and what it had, the impact it had on her family. She just had to come here to talk about it. And then we had another parent get up and say that because of the enrichment program, her child knows all these other teachers that she wouldn't have known before, that she hasn't had yet. So she sees them in the hallway, she's built relationships with them, she wants to go and see her friends in higher grades and things that they're doing that she's not a part of yet, just because she feels like a sense of belonging. So when we look at everything that we do here, we look at test scores, and we look at curriculum and things in the classroom, but there's a broader piece of belonging, and once you feel like you belong, you can really do a lot of things. So I think the enrichment programs really tapped into that. Yeah, it was a little disheartening to hear, can you do something for the students? Like, that's not what's happening here. So I just encourage everyone just to take note of what's going on the ground here, because it's really meaningful for a lot of people.
After years of nothing happening, you know what I mean? So that's what's,
Yeah.
all right, Mr. Reno, sorry.
Oh, no, that's,
I'll fire them.
no, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, this is a great committee, and we work together, and like I said, and I'll reiterate it, first and foremost is the well-being of our students. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Hashem for the superintendent's report.
All right, I will follow up with the enrichment as well, just to let everybody know specifically what ended up happening. I do want to thank the Finance Committee and the town meeting members that voted to approve all 4 of the warrants that we put forward. But I didn't want, it was a little confusing if anybody watched
Yeah,
last night. I do want to explain what happened. Last year, we got $500,000 in a lump sum, and it was all one enrichment program together. They've done a great job, everybody who's worked in the enrichment program, and I want to thank them. But each building sort of has a different need. So the high school next year, the warrant was for $100,000, and what they have chosen to focus on is tutoring and academic support, having a tutoring hub Monday to Thursday and also on Saturdays. That way, students that are struggling, and whether you call it remediation, or you call it tutoring, or you call it academic support, we do have staff there available for them for any of their needs. So that's sort of where the high school went. The Veterans Early Learning Center have about 40 to 50 students each session. Again, it's only kindergarten and first grade. They did things like food creations and gardens and vegetables and exploring exercise and that. So we put in a warrant for that program to be $75,000, and that was accepted. The 2 bigger programs were the middle school and the Belmonte STEAM Academy. Those were the 2 groups that you saw come before the school committee back in April or March or April, whenever they came. The first vote was for the Belmonte. They voted $100,000 to the Belmonte, plus all of the carryover that we have from FY '25, which should be around $150,000. We still have the end of the spring and some summer enrichment opportunities and programs that we're doing in different buildings. So they should have received basically the $250,000 that we asked for next year. And so did the middle school for $250,000. So, and again, just to explain what they've done is the Belmonte had about 8 to 10 offerings each session. They were academic, social, emotional, physical. The numbers of participants, because this is what really kind of hit home with me this is kind of what I had ready to go if I spoke last night. For the Belmonte STEAM Academy, a school that has about 815 students, had 205 participants in the fall session. In the first winter session, they had 220. In the second winter session, they had 220. And in the spring, they had 240. So it's a pretty sizable number of students that are participating. Middle school had Strategies of Success, which is a homework club, Monday to Thursday. And they also offered between 10 and 12 offerings each session. Again, focus on academics, but there were a social and emotional component to it and the physical component. Their enrollment or participation was 149 in the first session, 160 in the second, 173 in the third, and 196 in the fourth, which is just showing that the programs through word of mouth are growing. And hopefully we'll have more, and we'll have more staff and more instructors or facilitators of the program that help make that work. So I do want to thank everybody that's involved. I do want to thank everybody that came out last night to be there to support me if I had to go up and defend a program. And again, I don't have a problem defending this program. I think this is probably one of the most successful programs we've had since I can remember. And it definitely helps those students that don't otherwise have any opportunities or offerings for them after the school day. I mean, like I said, the high school, it's a little bit different because we do have a lot of clubs and groups. We do have the athletics and the drama. In the middle school, they have more, but they don't have anywhere near as much as the high school, and they're looking for something to do, and I can't remember who said it at one of the last meetings or the meeting that we had with that. One of the cries for a building was to make it more community-oriented and more outside of the school day. So I just think that's a huge plus. And again, if you're here at 4 o'clock when the enrichment program is getting out, it looks like dismissal. It's a second dismissal time. So if you're here during that time frame, you'll see how much that was. So I did want to talk about the enrichment program, even though all of you did as well. I do want to share with you, and I'll send this in an email form as well. We have a lot of end of the year stuff coming up. So I did want to just throw this out there. The Unsung Hero Awards, this was finalized at the SBEC meeting today, will be Wednesday, May 28th at 6 p.m. at the complex. Shadow Day is going to be Thursday, May 29th. That's during the day. That's different than Student Government Day, where during Student Government Day, they followed town officials and elected officials. That type of thing. It was elected mostly, and then me and the town manager. But with Shadow Day, they're focused on careers and jobs. We have the awards and scholarship night for the seniors is Wednesday, June 4th at 6 p.m. The senior promenade is Thursday, June 5th at 4 p.m. Both of those are at the middle high school. Graduation is Friday, June 6th at 6 p.m. in Sereno Stadium. First grade moving on ceremony is Wednesday, June 11th at the Velk. The Saugus High Underclassmen Awards is going to be Wednesday, June 11th at 6 p.m. at the complex. They have, Dr. Scazzarella has decided she has made a little bit of a change with the end of the year stuff. If you remember the academic and service awards that we've had every year, there are senior awards, then the big senior stuff and the scholarships, but there was also the underclassmen book awards. She's going to have the underclassmen awards, book awards, and she's added awards for each grade level. So there is going to be an underclassmen award ceremony separate from the seniors. That way, the senior academic awards and scholarship night is a senior event, and the underclassmen have their own award night, same type of thing.
I'm sorry, repeat, the scholarship night, when is that?
That is gonna be on Wednesday, June 4th. So it's June 4th is they usually do these three things in the week. Wednesday, the 4th, is the awards night for the seniors. Thursday's the prom, Friday's graduation.
You said the prom's at the high school?
No, the prom's not at the high school.
The promenade.
Promenade's at the high school.
Oh, okay.
They have the promenade where they walk across the
Yeah, yeah.
stage and they do that. That's at the high school. It's at the cruise port in Gloucester.
Okay,
Is that 6 o'clock on the 4th?
The promenade's at 4.
No, I'm sorry, on the Wednesday.
Oh, the 4th is at 6.
okay. Thank
Sorry about that. I know I said this, I have a couple more. I have the kindergarten moving on is Thursday, June 12th. The 5th grade moving on is the 13th, and the 8th grade moving on is the 16th on the Monday. I will share all that with you. That way you have them all. But suffice it to say, we got a lot going on in the next month and a lot of exciting things. It's a lot of student recognition, which I think is what it's all about, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think our moving on ceremonies where you got your report card, and you're
See
like,
you
I'm
later,
going to
yeah.
next grade.
Absolutely.
Yeah, outside of this, outside of honestly, the graduation, that's what it was for us.
Yeah.
Here's your report card.
Yeah.
You'll find out your teacher later. And I do have one other thing. I'm very pleased to announce, and I sent an email to the Belmonte staff, and I think the family email went out. We do have a new principal for next year. We offered, and he's agreed. Christopher Blair was a finalist. There were 3 rounds of interviews, a site visit here, and then 2 panels that he had. He had a teacher forum and a community or family forum. And he really stood out from all the feedback that I got from the people who met with him during the forum, the people who were on the initial round of interviews, the people who were on the second round of interviews. And I sat down in a 3rd interview with him just to make sure it's a match, and I really feel he's a great match for the Belmonte and the Saugus community.
Yeah, I heard from a lot of teachers and a lot of parents, and they really seem to like him a lot. I had an opportunity to meet him today. He seems like a
Yeah.
great gentleman. I think he'll be great for the district.
Well, that was the thing I wanted to do is this school has been through, and this school being the Belmonte, because we're sitting in it, has been through a lot of transition. I mean, they've merged, they've come together, they've moved, they've now had 3 principals in 4 years. It's time to get somebody that stabilizes it all. And that's why I wanted to make sure it was a match. So it was one of those things where it's great that we had a group of staff from the Belmonte that was in the first round of interviews, then the second was more administrative, and then we're not gonna hide what is happening in the Belmonte. The finalists came in and they toured the building. They got into classrooms, they talked to the various positions, because, again, it has to not only be a match for us, it has to be a match for them. And then the teachers had an hour to get about 15-minute introduction of each of the candidates, and then a Q&A, and they got to ask any question they want. And then after that, there was an hour for any parents or stakeholders or guardians that came in. And they did the same thing. So the candidates gave their overview, here's who I am, what questions do you have? So again, I think it was very important. And then I met with the finalist, Christopher Blair, one-on-one, just to try to make sure that, again, this has to be good for the Belmonte STEAM Academy. It also has to be good for him. And I think it's a really good match.
So with that said, maybe we could set up some time for us to sit down with them and.
Absolutely.
And then I'd like to maybe set up a time where some of the parents that maybe didn't get to meet him or that have students here, maybe we can set up a time during the
Yep.
summer
Yeah.
when there's no students here and just a meet and greet.
Yeah, he's under contract in his district until June
Yeah.
30th, and then July 1st, he's here.
Yeah, so that's what I
And
was
so, yeah,
thinking sometime in
absolutely,
June.
absolutely. I know he wants that to be, because He was in here signing today, and then I had a chance to talk to him. Again, now the pressure's off, or the pressure's actually more on now. And now it's questions is what can I do? And I definitely think he wants to get a feel for the community. He did express interest in making sure he knows where the vets is and the complex is and that type of stuff, because he knows he's the middle,
Yeah.
you know, the
Yeah.
middle piece here. So I definitely think he would not only is it, I think it's something he wants to do, not only that we want to do, I think he wants to do it.
Oh, excellent. Well,
I'm glad that he's coming
congratulations.
now, but can I, Mr. Chairman, for 1
Sure.
second? I'm hoping that everybody gives him a chance to implement his vision,
Mhm.
and, you know, we don't attack after 1 year or so.
Mhm.
This is what I get worried about.
Well, I think he's also a realistic person that realizes, you know, solving one person's problem might be creating somebody else's problem, and there's a lot of things that's happened. So I think he wants to hear the feedback and realize where they are right now, and he's got a pretty good feel of it. The people didn't necessarily hold back on the Q&A. They asked questions. He got to see, you know, business of the day. So he met with different stakeholders in the building. So I think he kind of has an idea. I mean, you don't know what you don't know, but he has an idea of what he's getting into. And I think he's realistic enough to, and we talked about it, you're gonna come in, you've gotta survey things and figure out where you're going on. He's probably got right now a million ideas, because he's very excited about coming to Saugus. He is extremely excited about coming to Saugus. And I think, you know, he's gonna have these ideas, but he, I think, is realistic enough to know that, you know, just because this worked here, it might not work in Saugus, just because I did. So I think, and again, he's gotta be, you know, it's something I do when I walk around and do observations and evaluations of people. It's like, I give recommendations, and sometimes the recommendations a teacher could say, I've tried that before, it doesn't work. It's just what I looked at, thought. So I think he's gotta get his feet underneath him, and I think, and hopefully everybody will be supportive of him trying to maneuver this and make sure that, you know, the Belmonte really gets a sense of community. Because that was one of the things that a lot of the people expressed, that they wanted that, you know, we lost the feeling of the little school, neighborhood schools, but they want a sense of what is it, what is the, you know, what is the characteristics of the Belmonte? You know, what is the community the Belmonte wants? So I think that's something he brings to the table. He's, if you Google him, he's written a children's book about the pandemic, during the pandemic. He's somebody that he's big on newsletters, which I personally like, but he also did a lot of videos during the pandemic, because he you know, you didn't want to lose touch with the kids. So he's very kid-friendly. When he went into classrooms, he talked to the students, and a lot of the teachers noted that.
That's excellent. I'm looking forward to it.
That's all I have.
Yeah, we'll go to new business discussions, the policy for renewal. Mr. Superintendent, are these from the MSAC, the starting the roll-in?
No, they're not. They're not. We were trying to make sure, I know they're doing it, but in the
Okay.
meantime, I wanted to be ahead of the game on this.
Okay, so we have some policies under D that we really just need to update and clean up some language.
Yeah, you're welcome to look them over. I gave them to you. If you look at each page, and I apologize, I wasn't sure how to do this, because, so there's a policy on each page, and if you look at the back of the page, it's kind of the commentary on what each line means. So as far as that goes, the yellow is modified language, the green's are new rules and regulations. So some of it was cleaning up some of the language, and some is the new rules and regulations that currently exist that our policies are outdated on.
Yeah, so I think what we'll do is we'll refer this to the policy subcommittee.
Yep, and just have them take a look at it. I'm gonna do this from time to time, in the meantime of waiting for the group to finalize our policies. We wanted to try to deal with some of them right off the bat.
Yeah, we'll get this referred to the policy subcommittee and get this voted on.
Excellent, thank you.
Next, discussion of traffic at the Saugus Middle High School complex and times for one-way traffic. This is something the principal of the school has reached out, and we've spoken to selectmen. It's taking Highland Ave from a one-way from
I believe it's 1 to 5.
1 to 5, and just moving it back from 1 to 5 to 1 to 3. So, if there's any questions, if not, we'll refer it back to the selectmen for a vote.
So you,
Just that, or is it gonna be Pierce Memorial as well?
It was just this right now. It was just this. We're looking at other, traffic patterns to see where we can make changes, but we just, if I understand correctly, the, chief just wanted to wait on the PS one.
So we're gonna keep that till 5 o'clock still?
Yes.
I don't know the, I don't know
think
the hours
PS is
of the
to
PS
5
one, to be
o'clock,
honest
is
with
it?
you.
Is PS?
Pierce is 5,
Is
yeah.
it?
Yeah, they're both the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean
And the
coming
PS one,
into
honestly-
PS, you can't come in until 5?
Well, why
Yeah,
don't
so we got buses coming from other towns to drop kids off for
Yeah, I
sports.
think,
So,
3 o'clock,
so
they come down, you know?
let's do this. Let's refer both of those to the selectmen, because
Well, yeah.
it doesn't make sense to do
You
one
have to do
and not
both.
do the other.
Right, or else you're gonna,
Yeah.
yeah.
I hate to be the skeptic tonight, but, we can make a million rules. If they're not enforced, they're useless. You know,
Oh,
that's- That's the
100%.
problem. You know, we get these one-ways now, and, you know,
Yeah, I
how many
think
people
what-
get killed almost coming down that road, you know?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I think one of the things as far, this would really, this is a little different than, this isn't gonna impact the dismissal. It really isn't,
Oh,
because.
no,
Because you're looking at the time window.
Correct.
I think what it does is, it stops some confusion about, like we said, buses and after-school stuff. And then when I'm saying buses, I'm thinking buses for after-school
Yeah,
things,
absolutely.
where all of a sudden they turn off the highway,
and they're coming right down.
and they're gonna come down Pierce, because, to be honest with you, that's where whatever they have for a navigation system's gonna send.
And the signage is terrible, terrible. Like, you wouldn't even notice, if you're taking a left from Maine to get on Pierce,
Yeah.
you wouldn't even see that sign. You know, it's too small, there's
Yep.
nothing on the other corner.
And I gotta be honest, until you said it just now, I didn't know the sign was there. I
Yeah,
didn't know what
no,
it
right,
said.
you know,
I mean,
so
I know that
it's-
it exists, but I can't remember what it says.
Yeah.
I know the one on Highland is 1 to 5.
Yeah, but like I said, we can make every rule in the world we want. We can-
Absolutely, it has to get,
No way, this way, without enforcement, it's useless,
all right,
so.
Yeah, no, like I say every meeting, don't drop your kids off at on-ramp and off-ramp, and every day I see it.
I'm gonna stop being a pessimist now, all right?
Every time I talk to you on the phone, you're on an exit ramp. You're like,
Next, we have the acceptance of 10 bikes and teaching bicycle safety and riding. So this is a grant received by the Belmonte STEM Academy from Cycle Kids. The curriculum supports PE, health curriculum that teaches students how to safely ride a bike, combined with nutrition lessons to support healthy eating habits. The value of the grant is $27,700. We don't need to hire any personnel for this.
no, this is just the curriculum, the training and support. We get 10 bikes and 24 helmets to work on bicycle safety.
Perfect, that's great. Any questions?
What is the monetary value on that one? So we
It's
can-
$27,700, between the bikes, the helmets, the training, the curriculum. It'll be, given the fact that, riding bicycles is bigger than it ever really has been. I like to think it was my
Yeah, 'cause they have
story,
electric-
the opening day
They
that
have
started it,
electric
but I
bikes
mean,
Because you don't have to pedal bikes now.
well, these are,
They have round tires now.
for full disclosure, these are the pedal bikes where it's your own. Otherwise, it really doesn't fit in the wellness, but
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Chair seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have a donation from the Lions Club to the Saugus High School Drama Club of $200.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Chair seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade field trip to Canopy Lake in Salem, New Hampshire.
it should be trips. Sorry, it should be
Field.
plural. There are 3 separate field trips.
Oh, okay. Okay, and do we have to vote on it, but do we have to sign off on it?
You just have to vote on it. I have the field trips forms for you to sign. This is all, if they went to, full disclosure, if they went to Six Flags, it doesn't require your signature, and that's further away. But because it goes over state lines,
Oh, okay.
it requires a school committee sign off and vote.
Motion to approve?
Chair seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of bills dated May 8th, 2025, in the amount of $462,280.43.
Motion to approve?
Chair seconds. Can we do a roll?
Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Wittridge?
Yes.
Mr. Sereno?
Yes. Approval of school committee meeting minutes for April 10, 2025, executive session.
Motion to approve?
Chair seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of school committee meeting minutes for April 10th, 2025, open session.
Motion to approve?
Chair seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have public comment. Seeing Carrie Hogan over here.
Should get her name, please.
Carrie Hogan, 11 Maple Street. Instead of changing the hours of the one-way, I think we could just put a cop up there for 2 hours a day, 7 to 8, 1:45 to 2:45, problem solved. Just suggestion. Maybe.
Which would be
include that
great.
in.
You just need, you gotta talk to the other guy at the other building.
Yeah.
Right, now, 'cause
All right, I'll head over there tomorrow.
She's here for public comment.
thank you. And recess to executive session for the purpose of negotiations. Myself, Mr. Wittridge, Mr. Fisher, Mr. Hashem, and
Ms. McBride.
Mrs. McBride, I'm sorry, the most important one. Not returning to regular session.
Motion to approve?
Chair seconds, all in favor?
I gotta do a roll call.
Well,
Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Wittridge?
Yes.
yes.
Now bang it for real.
We can just stay here.
Diane. Just,
Thanks, Carrie.
these are the ones that he needs to sign.
I'm so glad you're okay.
This is.
Oh, thank you very much.